A heap of papers lay on the floor. Maya recognized Anne's handwriting and decided to keep the diary but not to read it. Had she read it, she would have found detailed information on the help she and other people had given the Frank family at the risk of their own lives, and she might well have decided to destroy the diary for reasons of safety. 21. It took Otto Frank many weeks to finish reading what his dead child had written. He broke down after every few pages. As his old mother was still alive, she had emigrated to Switzerland where other near relatives lived. He started copying the manuscript for her. Some passages which he felt to be too intimate or which might hurt other people's feelings were left out by him. The idea of publishing the diary did not enter his mind. He gave one typed copy to a close friend, who lent it to a professor of modern history. Much to Otto Frank's surprise, the professor devoted an article to it in a Dutch newspaper. His friends now urged Otto Frank to have Anne's diary published as she herself had wished. In one passage she had written, "I want to publish a book entitled The Annex After the War. My diary can serve this purpose." When Anne's father finally consented to publication, the manuscript was refused by two well-known Dutch publishers. A third decided to accept it and he sold more than 150,000 copies of the Dutch edition. 22. Other editions followed, 250,000 sold in Britain, a like number in Japan, 435,000 in the United States. Otto Frank began to receive hundreds of letters. One, from Italy, was addressed, "Otto Frank, father of Anne Frank, Amsterdam." A few people doubted the authenticity of the diary. Most wrote to express their admiration and grief. Girls of Anne's age poured out their troubles. "Oh, Mr. Frank," wrote one girl, "she is so much like me that sometimes I do not know where myself begins and Anne Frank ends." Numerous people sent small presents. Some exquisite dolls were made for him by Japanese girls. A Dutch sculptress presented him with a statue of Anne. On the birthdays of Anne and Margot, flowers arrived anonymously. 23. So many letters poured in that Otto Frank was forced to retire from business. The care of his daughter's diary had become his passion, his mission in life. All royalties were devoted to humanitarian causes which, he felt, would have been approved by Anne. All letters were answered by him personally. Every day new ones sadly reminded him of the losses he had suffered, but he felt that there was truth and consolation in what the headmistress of one of England's largest schools wrote to him. "It must be a source of deep joy to you, in all your sorrow, to know that Anne's brief life is, in the deepest sense, only just the beginning." 24. The most remarkable response came from Germany. When the book's first printing of 4,500 copies came out in Germany in 1950, many booksellers were afraid to put it in their windows. 25. Mass appeal. When the play opened in 7 German cities simultaneously, no one knew how the audiences would react. The drama progressed through its 8 brief scenes. No Nazis were seen on the stage, but their ominous presence made itself felt every minute. Finally, at the end, Nazi jackboots were heard storming upstairs to raid the hiding place. At the close of the epilogue, only Anne's father was on the stage, a lonely old man. Quietly he told how he received news that his wife and daughters had died. Picking up Anne's slim diary, he turned back the pages to find a certain passage and, as he found it, her young, confident voice was heard, saying, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." 26. Packed audiences received Anne Frank's tragedy in a silence heavy with remorse. In Dusseldorf, people did not even go out during the interval. In Dusseldorf, people did not even go out during the interval. The Dusseldorf producer, Kano Apple, explained, Anne Frank has succeeded because it enables the audience to come to grips with history, personally and without denunciation. We watch it as an indictment, in the most humble, pitiful terms, of inhumanity to fellow men. No one accuses us as Germans. We accuse ourselves. 27. For years Germany's post-war administrators toiled to make people feel the senseless and criminal nature of the Nazi regime. On the whole, they failed. The diary of Anne Frank succeeded. Leading actors received dozens of letters. She carries the message of courage and tolerance all over the world. She lives even after death.